Hi, how you doing? Today I want to do another vid where I just kind of sit down and I talk about things that are happening. I have a pretty nasty month this month. Like, all my fucking finals are due. And for a while, 3 of them were due on the same day, which was a little fucked up, but we kind of passed that now, so that's good. Anyways, I want to talk about Street Fighter 6. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party here. Everyone's already talked about how wide Ryu is. Everyone, pissed their pants over the logo. But, in a way, I feel like this works out because I have that little bit of hindsight of talking about Street Fighter 6 after we got the final Street Fighter 5 patch. And man, what a fucking patch, can I just say. I really, really like the last Street Fighter 5 patch. You were a little mean to Urien. I don't think you had to do him that bad. That wasn't very nice. Also, thank you for the Oro buffs. Oh, they're so fucking good. They're so good. Whoever was behind the Oro buffs, you have my undying love and affection. Thank you for all your work and being very powerful and intelligent. We know Street Fighter 6 is happening, but we don't really know anything else about it. All we really know is that it exists, and Ryu and Luke are in it. That's like it. So, I guess this is more so just like my hopes for Street Fighter 6 and less like theory crafting and stuff, because what the fuck do we have to theory craft off? Okay, so for gameplay, so the first thing I'll talk about is gameplay, and honestly, I don't have a ton to talk about because, like, gameplay is such a broad thing, and it's so integral to the game, but at the end of the day, I'm just a fucking Platinum player. I don't know what's best for Street Fighter 6's gameplay. I could sit here and be like, it should have air dashing, and it should have Gatlings, and like, no, just listen, given how everything's gone with like the last 2 seasons of Street Fighter 5, right? I just have faith in Capcom to make a cool fucking game. Honestly, I don't see them fucking it up. Like, the worst thing that'll happen, probably, worst case scenario with Street Fighter 6, is that it'll come out and the gameplay is good, but there'll be like one character who's like really OP. And that's fine. That's okay. That doesn't change the fact that the game is fun, and it'll probably get sorted out knowing how things are nowadays. So that's no biggie. I know a lot of people really don't want Street Fighter 6 to have comeback mechanics. I'm fine with it. I don't mind. You know, like, a game having comeback mechanics isn't automatically a bad thing. It's just if the comeback mechanic is really shit. And I think V-Trigger's cool. I think V-Trigger is definitely the best comeback mechanic in Street Fighter. Maybe. It's my favorite anyways. I think with like the later seasons of Street Fighter 5, we definitely got around the issue of characters not feeling complete until they were in V-Trigger. Off the top of my head, everyone in Street Fighter 5 feels like a complete character when they're outside of V-Trigger. Except maybe Geef, but like, he doesn't really feel that complete when he's in Trigger either, but he's doing his best. He's trying, and that's okay. I know a lot of people want Street Fighter 6 to be like more execution heavy than Street Fighter 5. Where I would kind of fall on that is that I don't think the game as a whole needs to be more execution heavy, but I would like more execution heavy stuff, right? I like Street Fighter 5's direction of like prioritizing good execution at the right time than just overall high execution. Maybe that's a weird way to put it. I guess I like that they prioritize good decision-making over good execution. Like, it's more about executing the right thing at the right time than just doing hard shit, you know? But that being said, I know a lot of people want high execution characters and such. And in Street Fighter 5, you don't really have that. I guess you just have Menat. Menat is hard, I think? I don't know, I didn't fucking play her. But apparently she's very high execution, so, you know. If you want high execution in Street Fighter 5, there she is. And of course, like, other characters have a lot of high execution combos and such, like Oro, Dan, I guess, and Gil, maybe. But, like, you can play the characters and ignore all of that. Like, they're completely optional, you know? So it's there for people who want that, but you don't need to learn it to learn the character. And that's kind of what I want. I want more of, right? I think it would be cool if most of the cast had, like, very difficult B&Bs that did like 15 more damage than the normal one. If you can execute them. So like, you're rewarded for high execution, but it's not mandatory. That's what I like, right? Like, high execution is cool, and you should be rewarded for it, but not to a degree where it makes easier options just obsolete, right? Like, ideally, to me, being able to perform something that's high execution should net you, like, 20 extra damage and maybe a little more corner carry. You shouldn't be able to, like, use very good execution as, like, a crutch to make up for bad decision-making, if that makes sense. Maybe it does, I don't fucking know. I'm not really a thinking kind of guy, I don't think about these things a lot. Also, speaking on the issue of execution, I know another contentious topic is, like, motion inputs, and if we should do away with them. I don't see the need, but what I will say is, I think it would be a great move to have a character like Ed or Falk in the base roster. It doesn't even have to be either of those two, you could just make a new character who, like, plays the way they do, where they don't really have any motion inputs outside of the super. Ed and Falk were a really, like, interesting approach to working around motion inputs, and I think they did a pretty good job. It definitely took a while for them. They were both, like, complete dog when they launched, right? Like, I know Falk, when she came out, just did not feel finished. Like, at all. Like, what the fuck was going on? Okay, but I think in the final version of Street Fighter V, Ed and Falk are in a good place, and I do like what they've done with them, even if I don't love, like, their characterization. I think they're both a bit boring, especially Ed. But I like what they're getting at, and I think it would be very valuable to have a character who plays like them in the base roster, right? Because, like, the point of their playstyle is accessibility. So it's kind of weird that they're both DLC, right? It's like, hey, listen, if you find motion inputs difficult, that's fine. We got a character just for you. That'll be $5.99. No, like, don't do that. I don't think you need to tailor the entire game around, like, being high execution or not having motion inputs and shit like that. Just have options for the people who want that, right? Have characters who fit that bill, you know? Give characters options that fit that description, right? But don't go overboard, if that makes sense. Also, this is, like, maybe more of a visual thing, but I guess it ties into gameplay as well somewhat. And this is, like, one of the few things in Street Fighter V that I think didn't get better over time. If anything, it kind of got worse in a way. I think Street Fighter 6 needs to have really sick-looking supers. And maybe more than one for each character, right? Like, a massive draw of Street Fighter 4 was Ultras, right? Having multiple Ultras. However you feel about Ultras from a gameplay perspective, there's no getting around the fact that they're cool as fuck, right? And that's massive for a casual audience. Like, I remember fucking playing Street Fighter 4 on my 3DS, and I didn't know anything. I had no knowledge of, like, anything. I didn't even know how to do a Shoryuken for, like, 2 years straight, right? I could only do fucking moves with the touchscreen. That was it. That was it. Sometimes I accidentally did a Hadouken. I don't fucking know. But I didn't care, because Ultras. Look at them. Look how fucking cool they were. And every character essentially had 3 supers, right? Because you had the 2 Ultras and then you just had your typical super. That was so fucking cool to me. Now, I'm not saying Street Fighter 6 needs to have, like, 3 supers for every character or something. But just really try and make the supers you have look really fucking sick. Because I think Street Fighter 5 is definitely a mixed bag when it comes to how cool the supers are. And it's weird, like, I don't think they necessarily got better over time. Like, there's a few real stinkers in the later seasons, right? Like, Cody's super is, like, really lame. Falk's is a bit weird. Oh yeah, in fucking Season 4, fucking Honda, Poison, and Lucia, they all dropped at the same time, and they all have, like, ludicrously mid supers. They're just so okay, it's unreal. And then even in Season 5, like, Rose's super is a bit weird. It looks cool if it KOs. But if it doesn't, it has, like, no impact at all. And then, like, Luke's is very... Like, for the last super, Luke's super is just so fucking whatever. I don't even remember exactly how it goes. Doesn't he just punch you twice, and then he goes bah, 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 and then he goes bah, and that's the whole super. That's literally it. It's just the most nothing thing. Like, a lot of supers in Street Fighter V, I feel, need the KO screen to be cool. Otherwise, they just lack a lot of impact, and that kind of sucks when you've only one super per character. And speaking of having multiple supers, I would love to see utility supers come back, right? Utility supers are fun, you know? I enjoy that. Or, you know what you could do, right? This was one of my favorite things about Omega Street Fighter 4. You could have, like, those mini supers, right? You know, you remember, like, there's some special moves that if you do the EX version in Street Fighter 4, well, Omega Street Fighter 4, that is, You get like a mini super that costs 2 bars. I forget if it's EX Tatsu or EX Crazy Kicks, but Ken in Omega Street Fighter 4 has an EX move that costs 2 bars, and it's literally Shippu Jinrai. And that's so fucking cool. I know DJ has like, he has one as well. I forget what the name is, but it's cool. Oh yeah, Akuma's EX Shoryuken is one of those as well. Like, it costs 2 bars, and it looks really fucking cool. I would love to see something like that. And like, it technically, if you want to be a nerd about it, that does exist in Street Fighter V, but only with like some of the non-playable characters. Like the Master Ryu has a 2-bar super, and that's the Shinku Hadouken, and it's like weaker than Ryu's, but it juggles in a lot of places where Shin Shoryuken doesn't. And it, what else is it? Oh, it's plus 10 on block. But maybe don't do that, but it's cool, right? It was really cool. And Shadow Lady does the same thing. I think Shadow Lady has a 2-bar super. It's an air super too, which is kind of crazy. Just more interesting ways to utilize your meter will go a long way, I think, you know? Just having more than EX moves and supers is really cool in my opinion. But again, I'm not sure what the best way to go about that is, right? There's a lot of different ways to approach that. Moving on from just like, gameplay stuff. Okay, I mean, the big thing is like, who do you want to come back in Street Fighter 6? What characters do you want to see? What's my little wish list for Street Fighter 6? And, listen, I asked about it on like a YouTube post, right? Like, and someone mentioned the idea of like an Everyone Is Here style roster, kind of like what Smash Ultimate did. I think it's very safe to say that's not happening. I would be fucking stunned, amazed, if Street Fighter 6 launches with more than 24 characters. Like, I think we kind of got to be realistic. Fighting game rosters are getting smaller and smaller. That's fine. That's how it is. That's okay. So, like, it's a bit, you know, you don't be disappointed because your favorite character, fucking Punchy McKickenstein, didn't get in the game. Just, you know. But, like, of course I'd love to see Hugo. I would love if they put Hugo in Street Fighter 6. Even if he's down the line as DLC, that would make me very happy. I will say, though, I want Third Strike Hugo. Not whatever the fuck they did to him in Ultra Street Fighter 4. And Ultra Street Fighter 4 Hugo, he's really fun, but he's like the single biggest bastardization of a character in maybe all of Street Fighter. There's probably a worse one, but it's not coming to me off the top of my head. But he literally goes from like this very like pretty subdued character in Street Fighter 3, you know? Like he's got that really sick look because like you can't see his eyes until he attacks because the hair, like his eyes are blacked out by his hair, but they light up whenever he does some attack. That's so fucking cool. And then in Street Fighter 4, he just looks like a fucking idiot. And I hate it. And he's like, his story is him crying about like potatoes and his mom. He's just like, potato, mom. And then it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like in Street Fighter 3, Hugo is genuinely kind of intimidating, you know? But he still gives off this like gentle giant kind of vibe in a way. And then in Street Fighter 4, he's just dumb big guy, right? He's just dumb big guy. He's a prototype Abigail. Except maybe worse, actually. Yeah, maybe worse. Like, Abigail thought he was a car sometimes. But that was kind of fun, maybe. A little bit. Just a tiny bit fun. Like, yeah, Abigail was stupid. But he didn't take a character that I really liked and bastardize it like Hugo did. So, I'd love to see Hugo come back, but just make him cool, okay? Don't make him cry about potatoes and shit, please. Other than that, Oro, I would love to see Oro come back from Street Fighter V. He is easily my favorite character in the game. He is so fucking fun. He's so fucking cool to watch. I love Oro. He's mwah, beautiful. Dudley would be great to see. I'd love to see Dudley. I'd love to see T-Hawk. I feel like no one fucking talks about T-Hawk, right? I don't care that much about most of like the Street Fighter 2 characters. You know, I physically could not care less about like Fei Long or like E Honda or Blanca, right? But T-Hawk is kind of nice. I would like to see what they do with T-Hawk, especially because he's so fun in Omega Street Fighter 4. He's one of my favorite Omega characters, easily. He's so cool. I'd love to see some of that come back for Street Fighter 6. I do understand that he's not super popular though, so, you know, you never know. Other than that, who would I want to see? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm open to anything really, right? I think it'd be cool to see Abel back. Abel or Alex, right? I don't know if I want Abel and Alex, right? I think it'd be cool if we got one or the other. Actually, wait, okay. We could have Alex and Abel, but on one condition, and that's that canonically in Street Fighter 6 they get together, okay? Please. Capcom, I don't ask for much, but give me this, okay? Alex and Abel, they're made for each other. They're perfect, right? Look at them. They're both big blonde boys. They both have 4-letter names that start with an A. It writes itself. It writes itself. You know? Maybe they go on a date. Maybe they get a pizza and they go back to Alex's trailer and they watch Shrek 2. Oh, it'd be nice to see Elena come back. I know everyone, like, hates Elena in Street Fighter 4, but, right, like, you can't let that ruin Elena for you, right? Like, she's still a cool character. There's no way around that, and she's pretty cool in Street Fighter 3. You don't see her a lot, but, you know, people make her work, and it's very cool to see, so I'd be down to see that. Honestly, I'm not super picky when it comes to characters, right? I know I listed just, like, 9 characters that I'd love to see, but, like, if none of them showed up, I'd still play the game. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, if they brought back any character that's in Street Fighter 5, even some of the ones that I just don't really care about, like Ed, Honda, Blanca, Jury, you know, it's fine, you know. And maybe they could do something cool with them that would make me like them more. You never know. The big thing, though, is that I would love to see more original characters, right? I think they did a really, really good job with, like, the new characters in Street Fighter 5. The 4 that were there at launch, I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of, like, 50-50 on. They're fine. Fong is pretty funny. Laura is fine. Rashid is fine. And then, like, I don't think anyone has thought about Nikali in years. Like, they really set him up to be the big villain. And then when they were like, no, actually, that's... I don't like him anymore. Fuck that guy. There's no way in hell Nikali's coming back for Street Fighter 6. I would be fucking stunned. I would be less surprised if Bison came back in Street Fighter 6. And he fucking dies at the end of Street Fighter 5. So, like, I don't fucking know, dude. It's very bright outside. Those curtains are closed. It is a very bright day today. I think Luke definitely got off on the wrong foot, right? Like, his reveal was a little underwhelming for a lot of people because it's like, wait a minute, that's a new character. That's not old character I like from video game I like. This sucks. But on top of that, there's also the fact that he's kind of, you know, a little bit busted, maybe. I wouldn't say busted, but he's definitely been terrorizing people for a little bit. And, like, his story isn't interesting at all, right? He's just, you know, oh, I am boy. Oh, this is my dad. Uh-oh, he got killed by the terrorist. Whoopsie. Oh, Guile is my baby daddy now. Okay, he's going to train me to be Guile Jr. Great. Fucking whatever. But yeah, I don't dislike Luke. And maybe they'll do something cool with him in Street Fighter 6. They've already made him look cooler, right? Because we know how Luke looks in Street Fighter 6. And he has hair now instead of spaghetti, which is that's a good step in the right direction. So, who knows? Maybe they'll do something cool with him. Oh, one thing I should talk about as well is, like, there's a lot of talk about the game being free-to-play. Like, fighting games in general moving to, like, a free-to-play model. And I get it. You know, it's rough. Games being $60 when it's so hard to, like, know if you'll enjoy them, like, so quickly. It's tricky. I've definitely bought my fair share of fighting games that I just did not get into, and then it's like, okay, well, I have this now. I don't know what the best way to go about a free-to-play model is. Like, I don't think about this stuff at all. I think, for me personally, I'd like something where it's like, okay, you can download the game for free. Here's, like, 3 or 4 characters. You can hop online with them, and you can play training mode with them. And then if you pay, like, this one-off payment, you just get the rest of the game. That's the way I like it. I don't know if that's the best for the game, necessarily. I think, Didn't Fighting EX Layer do that? I forget. I know the Switch version of Fighting EX Layer did it, but I don't know if like the main version did. But overall, I quite like that model. I think that's quite good. I think it's a given that the online is going to be good, right? But like, there's no way they'll fuck this up, right? There's no way. I mean, they fucking nailed Marvel Infinite's online. That was like 5 years ago nearly. And that online is really fucking good. So like, come on, they got this, right? They got this. One thing I will say, okay? One thing I will say, one of my biggest complaints with Street Fighter V, if I run into someone in casual, right? Don't just like force a best of 2 on me, or best of 3 on me, right? Please. Please. I have met so many people just on casual in Street Fighter V that I would gladly play for a fucking hour. But no, I played 2 games, get kicked out, and now I have to wait like a minute and a half for another match. Please, just let me play with people as long as I want, okay? That's all I ask. That's all I want from the online for Street Fighter 6. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about. One more thing, right? This is like my big hope for Street Fighter 6, okay? This is like the biggest thing I want to see, personally. I want the game to really make a fucking effort to actually teach the player about the game. And I'm not talking like just like your shitty typical fighting game tutorial where it's like Street Fighter V's tutorial. Does anyone even fucking remember Street Fighter V's tutorial? It's literally like, this is how you move, this is how you jump, this is how you button, here's a Hadouken, here's a V-skill, everyone has one. Oh, now they have 2. What do? Go fuck yourself, figure it out. Like, please, just, like teach the player about, like, stuff. Teach the player what a shimmy is. Give them an example of it. Teach the player what an empty cancel is. Teach the player how to whiff punish. Teach the player why whiffing shit is bad, right? Like, I think I've mentioned this. I fucking love watching Street Fighter V. I really do. It's one of my favorite games to watch, right? But I completely understand why a lot of people don't. They just don't find it interesting, right? But I think if you made an effort to teach the player about, like, the intricacies of Street Fighter Neutral and such, like, right? Like, if you just made more of an effort to teach new players about the game, they would appreciate it more. Because a lot of new players just watch Street Fighter V and they just don't get it. They're like, okay, he hit him and they went into a special move. Huh? Wait, this isn't cool. What? You know? Just, I don't know, dude. Just make an effort to teach the player in depth, right? And don't shove it down people's throats, right? Just have it as an option for people who are there. You know, actually, I mentioned earlier about, like, that free-to-play model, right? Maybe just have, like, the tutorial, training mode, and online, right? Something like that. Like, I really want Street Fighter 6 to have a good-ass tutorial. I understand that fighting games have a massive casual audience. Like, players who might not ever hop online, right? Might not ever really watch the game. They just kind of want to hit people and computers with cool supers and shit, right? But if you have something in the game that makes more of an effort to teach them about why your game is sick as fuck, then maybe you get more people, you know, moving from that casual level where they don't know what the fuck is going on, but they think Shoryuken looks cool. They might hop online a little bit now that you've taught them some stuff and they're a bit more confident, you know? Just please make an effort to teach the player. I have faith in Capcom to make a really fucking cool game, but I want them to sell people on the cool game, alright? I know your game is sick, but teach fucking little Timmy why your game is sick, okay? Who doesn't know any better. Just please, I'm begging you for a good tutorial. It doesn't even affect me, but I would appreciate it. I don't know. Do I have high hopes for Street Fighter 6? I don't really want to say I have high hopes. I just want to say that I am very optimistic. I think this is going to be great. I think it's just going to be a fun game with a nice little roster. That's one last thing I'll add, right? I did mention how, like, fighting games now just have smaller rosters, and that's fine. That being said, I think it is very important for Street Fighter 6 to have a bigger starting roster than Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter V's tiny starting roster was definitely, like, a big complaint at the time. And I think, you know, overcoming that with the beginning of Street Fighter 6 would reflect very well on Capcom. So like, maybe, like, 20 characters at launch, something like that. That would be nice. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, that's generally all my thoughts for Street Fighter 6 right now. I might have like dumped a lot of info there. Maybe I just kind of rambled a bit, but I don't know. I've been thinking about this for someone who doesn't think. I've been thinking about it a lot. And listen, whatever Capcom do with this game, I am really looking forward to it. And I have all the faith that they'll do something cool. And I hope you're looking forward to it too, whatever it is. So catch y'all later.